If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, as I am, you have been spoiled. And I've been very vocal when it comes to talking about how Canucks fans have been spoiled the past few years, pretty much on this channel, because when it comes to prospects and development, and when it comes to international tournaments and rookie showcases, we have had some pretty good guys come into the Canucks organization the past few years. It started off with Brock Boeser being the best rookie in the NHL for a good chunk of 2017-2018 before getting injured and losing the Calder to Barzal. We then had Elias Pettersson in the same year just do fantastic wonders for Sweden, for Växjö in the Swedish league, as well as Team Sweden in various tournaments, and then he made the NHL and won the Calder. Later, the next season, it was Quinn Hughes' time to shine. He went out there, did his thing, he was fantastic at all the championship tournaments that he had been in as well. So Canucks fans have been kind of spoiled when it comes to these guys, as well as Höglander, as well as Podkolzin, seeing the development and the prosperity of their prospects in the past few years. But this year, it's kind of a little bit different, because when it comes to all the prospects in the team, hey, guess what? They're on the team already. Höglander, Podkolzin, PD, Brock, Quinn, they're all on the team, and as a result, the Canucks prospect system it's really lacking right now. Like, I'm sorry. The way this team has gone out there and traded away draft picks, not really gotten any significant pieces through the draft in the past few years, and just went along with their seconds and thirds and tried to make the best out of them. I'm sorry, Vancouver, but this team's prospect cupboard is pretty bare, which is why having Jim Rutherford come in here and saying what he did about how he wants to go out there and acquire more draft picks and build through the draft, it's a very refreshing sign for fans who have been used to Jim Benning trading away picks like candy. This isn't even a new thing. I'm not talking about Toffoli and Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Connor Garland. I'm talking about Eric Goodbranson. I'm talking about the Jared McCann trade all those years ago. I'm talking about just the sheer quantity of picks the Canucks have traded away, but that's a completely other video for another day. Long story short, the Canucks prospect cupboard sucks, and as a result, they only have one guy at the World Juniors this year. Let's talk about that prospect and take a look at what he did yesterday and go over just what exactly he is and what he is supposed to be. So, today we're talking about Dmitri Zlodeyev, playing for Khimik Voskresensk in the VHL this year. He's 19 years old, born in February of 2002, 5'11", 183. He's a left-handed center, and he was drafted by the Vancouver Canucks in the 6th round of the 2020 NHL Entry Draft. Now, 6th-round picks aren't usually ever super significant, so when it comes to Dmitri Zlodeyev, I won't blame you if you say you don't really know too much about this guy. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know too much either, so we're learning on the fly as we go. When the Vancouver Canucks drafted Zlodeyev back in 2020, they had themselves a guy in the MHL, the Junior League, playing for Dynamo Moscow, get half a point a game with an A on his sweater. The season after that, he went back to the MHL, played with the same team, Dynamo Moscow, and had 12 points in 16 games this time, and even got an extended stint with Dynamo Krasnogorsk in the VHL, so the AHL of Russia. There, he had 7 goals in 19 games played, 0 assists, so you could really see the production line trail off more in that goal-scoring direction. But this year, Zlodeyev has kind of been all over the place. You want to talk about Russian prospects for Vancouver that play so many games spread across so many different teams and so many different leagues? Yeah, Vasily Podkolzin kind of had this treatment a few years ago. Dmitri Zlodeyev is sort of getting that now. He has played in the MHL, played for 2 teams in the VHL, played for a team in the KHL, and overall he has himself a pretty not too impressive record when it comes to points, but who really cares? He's not getting any time to really settle down anyway, so I'm willing to give him a pass. Just for the sake of looking over it though, in the VHL for Dynamo St. Petersburg, which is the AHL of Russia, he had himself half a point a game, 2 points in 4 games. In the MHL, Dynamo Moscow once more, 7 points, 10 games, so his point per game number actually kind of dropped from last year. He played in the VHL Khimik Voskresensk as well, 1 point in 5 games played, and even had 2 games played for Spartak Moscow in the KHL, where he had himself 0 points. Now, this year, he has indeed made Team Russia at the World Juniors, and he has an A on his sweater. So even though he might not be one of these guys that is projected to going out there and scoring the lights out like a Matvei Mishkov is, or like a Marat Kustadinov is, for example, you still have yourselves a leadership role that Dmitri Zlodeyev has been assigned at the World Juniors. And yesterday, for Team Russia in their game against the Swiss, guess what? Dmitri Zlodeyev played pretty well. He scored himself a goal where he actually wraps the puck around the net and tries to force things through. It takes a weird bounce, and eventually Zlodeyev just whacks the puck on goal, and that's probably the best verb to describe this goal. He just whacks it towards the net, and it goes right by the goaltender. It was in and out quickly, and it didn't even really look like a goal at first, but then you saw them celebrating. It's like, oh, it's 2-0 now. Nice, Dmitri Zlodeyev. He actually had himself a pretty good involvement in the rest of the game, too. I didn't watch the majority of this game because I was out shopping because, yeah, I'm in the States right now, which is kind of why the audio sounds different, but, still, Zlodeyev was going out there doing what Russians do at the World Juniors. They don't really usually have any players that stand out in a significant way, like a Matvei Mishkov, which is why he is such an anomaly. They play such a very unique kind of game that is so different from the way regular hockey is played outside of the international stage, where they really try to promote that team-based oriented style that was popularized in the 80s by guys like Igor Larionov and Fetisov and Tikhonov and all that. So yeah, it's always been very interesting to see how the Russians play the World Junior tournaments, but for Zlodeyev, he was so good and so involved that he was actually given the Player of the Game award for Team Russia. Now, I know it's easy to go out there and dismiss awards like this because you just see these awards rotate from player to player to player every game. So you could debate whether or not there really is a big importance on this award, but at the end of the day, you would rather see this than not see this, right? Especially if you're a Canucks fan trying to cling to whatever hope there is left for this prospect cupboard at the moment, because with guys like Arvid Kosmar last year going out there doing his thing for Team Sweden at the World Juniors, with guys like Dmitri Zlodeyev this year going out there doing his thing, you really got to go out there and stretch the grid thin to look for positives with the prospects, because all the really good ones have just graduated the system and they're now on the team full-time. The Canucks had other prospects that might have been able to make the World Juniors, but they didn't. Yoni Yermo comes to mind. He was the top pick the Canucks had in, 2020? Because their first and their second were both gone. Oh my goodness, Benning, man, come on! You have yourselves also Jacob Truscott, who I guess he had himself a shot for making Team USA as a guy on Michigan, but he didn't make the team. So yeah, it's only Dmitri Zlodeyev for the Vancouver Canucks at the World Juniors right now, and he had himself a pretty good game, but at the end of the day, he still is just one of these 6-round guys that was taken a while ago that a lot of people don't really know too much about. So, like you, I'm going to be going out there, watching the games, making sure that I'm doing my homework and doing my research on Zlodeyev, seeing if he actually is the real deal, because we kind of need this for Canucks fans, right? I hope Jim Rutherford goes out there and gives the team more prospects and very high-caliber picks to be excited for, but for now, when it comes to the grandest international stage for prospects drafted into the NHL and soon to be drafted as well, can't forget about the Bedards and the Mishkovs and the Wrights, the Canucks only have one prospect at this tournament, and it kind of is indicative of how bare the prospect cupboards are. So talk to me in the comments, what do you think about Dmitri Zlodeyev? If you actually know quite a bit about this guy, then please let me know in the comments what are your thoughts, because I personally have not watched too many Dynamo St. Petersburg games in the VHL or Dynamo Moscow games in the Russian Junior League or even Spartak Moscow games in the regular KHL. So for Zlodeyev, playing, 4 plus 10, 14, 16 plus 5, 21 games, spread across 4 different teams and 3 different leagues in Russia, not to mention the World Junior team as well, which is suiting up for now. It's been quite the wild ride for this prospect. Does he amount to anything? I'm not really too sure. Does he become a middle 6 guy, a top 6 guy, a franchise-altering talent? I'm not really too sure, but if you have any ideas, then please let me know in the comments all your thoughts about Zlodeyev and his projection into the long-term future for the Vancouver Canucks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.